out this time of year. And I was talking to a lot of people, especially when there's a baby on the way. But a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm so stressed, I can't do this. And we're not here to stress people out. But ultimately, the best time to get adjusted is when you're stressed, because that's when everything gets pulled out of alignment and things of that nature. Having said that, there's different types of stresses, different types of things that we can do to our body that will cause those subluxations or maybe cause disruptions in the health of the body. Hey, Jen.
Hi.
And it's important to understand that these nutritional classes are part of that whole process. There's a lot that goes on in understanding how to lose weight, the things to do properly, and looking at the myriad of people here, there's different levels and different things and different activity levels that people need to understand when they're looking to lose weight. And having said that, there's a huge question that I have to ask for anybody. What really drives people to lose weight? I mean, give me some examples why you may want to lose weight.
Feel better about yourself?
Feel better about yourself? That's a good one. Huh?
To become healthier.
To become healthier, right? But why do people usually try to lose weight?
So they look good.
To look good, yeah, that's part of it. But it's like, oh, I'm going to the beach, I got to lose 20 pounds. Oh, I have a wedding to go to, I got to be able to fit into this dress, or fit into this suit, and what do people do? What do people usually do when they get into that situation? They starve themselves, okay? And what they do is they lose all this weight, they look good, they quote unquote feel good about themselves, and they're like, oh, I look good, and what happens after they're done with that party or whatever it is that they were looking to achieve? Yeah, they go right back to the old habits. They go right back to the old habits of what they were doing before. Now, ultimately, we have to understand what serving sizes are, what things are. I mean, there's a lot of ways to measure things and what a serving size is, and I'm sure people have learned a lot of that stuff. But when you walk into a restaurant, or if you're not cooking for yourself, I mean, one of the healthiest things that you can do is actually cook for yourself. Okay, because when you walk into a restaurant, you don't know what you're going to get. Even if you're ordering the healthy stuff on the menu, you still don't know what you're going to get. You have to be careful of the things that you're ordering. Now, there are some people that walk in, like today, we have a team training conference call the third Tuesday of every month, and I buy lunch for the staff, and we usually will get something healthy. We get salads, but there's always something, that's not healthy. There's always something, but it's very easy to do that. But the first thing you have to realize are what are your requirements for nutrition? What are the things that you do? I remember many years ago when they started the points system with Weight Watchers. Everybody's heard that. It's not a bad system, but did it really teach you how to eat? No, I mean, people were eating like a dozen donuts and then not eating for the rest of the day. Because they would eat all their points, all their points. Is that healthy? Absolutely not. And it's not a good habit. So starving yourself is not a good thing to do. Why is starving yourself a bad thing to do?
Because your metabolism starts thinking that you're not going to be getting as much, so it's going to start storing more fat.
That's right.
You have energy for in time of need.
You slow down your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, okay, and it affects your thyroid. Okay, a lot of people have thyroid issues now, and you wonder why, and there's some reasons nutritionally behind that, iodine and vitamin D and things of that nature, but that's for another subject in another class. But understanding that you are actually slowing down your metabolism when you are starving yourself. So it's not a healthy way to eat. And losing the weight, in order to lose weight, it has to be in a healthy manner. You have to do it gradually. You have to do it gradually because what it does is it teaches you the habits that you need. I always start with the simple basic, and some of you might seen this before, and I call it my peace sign. You take your plate and you break it into thirds, because if you eat like this, your body will be in balance and be in peace. okay, because you will eat healthier, okay? So one of the things is a third of the plate should be complex carbs. What is a complex carb? Does anybody know? Could anybody name one? Vegetables can be. Vegetables can be, but vegetable has its own category all amongst itself.
Beans and brown rice.
Beans, brown rice, those are, yes, those are complex carbs. Any ones that are processed, like white, if it's white, it's usually processed, and it's not good. There's actually carbs in the bran of the brown rice and things of that nature, and there's certain nutrients that are in it that are healthier for you. Quinoa, bulgur, I call it bulgur, it's cracked wheat. You know, there's a lot, huh? Couscous. You have to make sure it's made from the proper things, because some of the stuff is made from semolina wheat and some of it is processed. So you have to be aware of those types of things that you're eating. So you want a complex carb, okay? Do carbs get a bad rap now? Yeah, they do. They're the best way for quick energy. I mean, if you look at any energy drink, it's full of sugars and carbs because it's carbs. Okay, and you know, depending on what you're doing, like I run triathlon, so over the endurance, they say that every hour or so you have to replenish about 200 calories while you're running a triathlon. When I did my half iron distance triathlon, I keep track of it with a watch. You know, I do my stuff. The estimated calories that I burned was over 7,500 calories in that one race. Okay, so the thing is, my nutritional requirements are different. I know Zell plays football, so his nutritional requirements are going to be different than, say, Jen's nutritional requirements. You're not playing football. You know, so the thing is, you have to look at those. You have to look at those things. So there are protein requirements, things that you have to look at. Unfortunately, what has happened is many years ago, there used to be, everybody used to say, okay, you have to eat low fat. Okay, well what has changed is a lot of the meats and stuff that we eat now are more processed and are raised on farms where the fats are supposed to marble in, or the foods that are done, they get the good marbling to make the steak taste good or make the meat taste good. And what has ended up happening is they've taken away from the lean meats, that because those animals were not raised that way many years ago. Now they're highly processed and things of that nature. So when you go to the fats or the proteins, you want a lean protein. Usually a grass-fed, something that's grass-fed will be good. A fish is good. Something that has good EPA, DHA, fish oil. Everybody says fish oils, but there's actually EPA, DHA in farm-fed animals and things of that nature, in wild game. That stuff is there in those creatures too, because they're not processed. They don't have the antibiotics and all the stuff that's going on. And the last one is the vegetables. You want leafy greens though, because the leafy greens are important. And this is an important balance. Now, for those that are vegetarians, you have to look for something to replace the proteins. Okay, and there's a couple of options along those lines, and we actually are going to be. Did we do the healthy vegetarian yet? No, we didn't. We're going to be doing a workshop on healthy vegetarian eating, and obviously Dr. Jenna, who's a vegetarian, is going to talk about that a little bit. So this is important to understand. But this is a simple way to look at your plate. Now, the thing is, what is a single serving? What is a serving of something? What is a single serving of a food? You know, these are the things that we look at, because do you get normal sized servings or single servings when you go out to eat in a restaurant? No. Absolutely not. We went out to the Puritan for our Christmas dinner. Oh my God, the sizes of the servings were monstrous. I mean, I got a piece of pecan crusted haddock, and I mean the thing was like huge. It was like this big. I couldn't believe how big it was. It had to be like 3 or 4 servings. So those are things that you have to be aware of when you're eating the foods, what they are. And in order to be healthy when you're doing it, you can't just gorge yourself you can't gorge yourself at the end of the day, or not eat breakfast and gorge at night. That's actually called the sumo wrestler diet, okay, where people don't eat all day and then they eat at night. and they just gorge themselves on thousands and thousands of calories, and then you go to sleep. Okay, you know, there is an important aspect to it. You have to look at caloric intake, and you have to understand what that caloric intake is, but is it healthy caloric intake, one? Two, what activities are you doing to balance it out? Okay, so the thing is, what is a healthier way of eating throughout the day?
Snacking.
Snacking, grazing. Yeah, grazing, okay. But not grazing on large meals. Like, you know, I got a foot-long sandwich from Subway the other day. And usually what I'll do is I'll eat half of it, and then 2 hours later I'll eat another half of it. Because what happens is, this changes the levels of your sugar levels in your body, because when you, I want to do that one. And if you look at what happens when you eat, okay, you eat a food and your insulin levels go up, and then everything spikes like this. So your sugar levels, everything goes up in order to process that food. But the thing is, if you gorge yourself, it's going to go up higher, and then what ends up happening, and this happens with caffeine and sugar, which is absolutely horrible. We'll talk a little bit about that. Your body spikes. What happens if you don't eat for a couple hours? What happens to you? It drops, but it drops almost twice as much. Okay, so that's why if you're getting really, really, really tired, one, you might be allergic to something in the food that you ate. That's the first thing. The second thing is you need to be able to replenish what's going on. So if you're eating, rather than eating that 12-inch Subway like I was talking about all at once, which I did do, well, I actually ate it over about an hour and a half, 2 hours. But if you eat this all at once, your blood sugar is going to spike. And what is usually the case? I don't have the time. I don't have the time to stop and sit down and eat meat properly. Yes, you do. It's just different. You have to train yourself to be able to do it. So the thing is, you put it down, and then you know, because how long does it take to eat a 6-inch Subway? For me, it takes like 5 minutes. You know, but it doesn't take that long to eat it. So don't tell me you don't have the time. You just put the other half away for a little later. So the thing is, if you do that, what happens is your level has not gone up as much. So if you wait, it's going to come down, so you may not be as tired, but what happens is then you eat like a couple of hours later, maybe 3 hours later, and then it comes back up again. So it's a more steady line, and it's closer to normal, rather than these huge peaks and valleys that go up and down like this. Okay, why is this important in trying to lose weight?
Because your metabolism is constantly working.
Bingo. People don't understand that. Okay, you need to eat in order to lose weight. Okay, you need to eat, and initially you may gain a little bit until your metabolism starts understanding that it's working at a faster rate. Okay, so that's one of the first things that you have to look at. You do have to look at the food you eat. You can't be eating sugars and sweets and things of that nature, because if you eat a lot of that stuff, you know, it's going to cause a problem. My wife loves dark chocolate, so every night, I don't know if anybody knows Perugino Facci chocolates. Absolutely loves them. They're dark chocolate with hazelnut. Okay, I'm not a big fan of chocolate, and people say I'm a little strange, but the thing is, she eats one every night. But that's it. You know, it's like that's her dessert. She doesn't have this whole cake. I mean, you ever order a cake at a restaurant? It's too much. I mean, it's just. I mean, it's my. She's. And Julie's. I do it periodically, and Julie says, "Oh, you always eat that." I don't. I was telling the girls. Over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've cut sugar out of my diet. I haven't been eating it because I started training more frequently. And I had one small piece of chocolate cake that was left over from a dessert at a restaurant, and I felt miserable after I ate it. And then yesterday I had a piece of fudge. And my stomach felt like it felt like I had indigestion. You know, just eating this small piece of fudge. You know, so my body is telling me, hey, and you know, a lot of times, what do we do if that happens, if we get indigestion or do something? What do people do?
Take something for it?
Huh? Eat more. Either they eat more or they take a Tums or something. It's your body speaking to you. Okay? You have to listen to your body, because it'll tell you what's good for you and what's not. And if you're getting really exhausted after you eat, then the foods that you're eating are not the ones you should be eating. So the healthy way to eat is to eat throughout the day, okay, get your metabolism speeded up, and then you can start changing, but just keep in mind that plate where you're eating properly, okay? It's important. What's another way to intelligently lose weight?
Exercise.
Exercise. But you know what? How many people keep up with an exercise program? Cool, you see? Right, because you've started doing it, you do it. But why do you keep up with the exercise program?
It starts my day.
It starts your day? Is someone holding you, because Michelle pushes you?
She would hurt me.
Okay, someone is keeping you accountable.
Yeah.
Okay, someone is keeping you accountable. I don't know if you have anybody that you sort of speak with or train with. Accountability is huge. Okay, because if you want to lose weight, that's why the Weight Watchers thing with the numbers thing was really important for people, because they can keep themselves accountable for the things they were doing. So I use, personally I use something called MyFitnessPal, and you can link MyFitnessPal to a lot of these new activity trackers. You know those activity trackers that you can buy, the Fitbits, there's the Mio, there's so many of them. I use a Garmin. I'm getting one that I can actually track my steps and actually all my activities too. And I'll show you what it sort of looks like, and that's what I'm going to show you. But accountability is a huge factor. You need to be able to be with someone that will say, hey, like Julia, finally she wanted to go to the gym tonight, but I'm starting to get her into understanding that it's good to go. Like on Sunday, we went as a family to the Y, and we all got on the treadmills and ran. You know, so the thing is, doing it as a group or socializing with other people is an important aspect. And if you want to lose weight, exercise or activity is important. Now, if you do a physical job, okay, and you're out there and you're doing a very physical job, you have to make sure that after you're done with that job, that you're doing something that's going to reverse or help to give you some life into your legs and arms and things of that nature. So stretching, things of that nature. And then maybe take a small walk. I mean, I think people think of exercise and they think of, oh my God, I gotta do and hurt myself and do. No, it's just getting up and moving. And getting a fitness tracker helps you to track the activity you're doing their day, so you have a better understanding of how much you are really burning throughout the day. So having the knowledge of where things are going is important. So having said that, I'm going to show you MyFitnessPal, okay, and this is actually mine for today, okay. In MyFitnessPal, what happens is this thing okay? I'll use the, see if the mouse works. Okay. You can go into my home, okay, and then you have home, goals, check-in, mail, profile. When you look at it, it asks you, you go into your profile, and you can put in your statistics, how old you are, things of that nature. And then it also gives you a list of, see, it's telling me I lost 0 pounds over the last 3-4 weeks. Because what's happening is, what's a healthy weight to lose over a week?
2 pounds? Or the
2 to 4 pounds, you know, is healthy. I mean, if you lose 1 pound a week, in 52 weeks, you've lost 52 pounds. So, I mean, it's a process, and it's interesting. We were talking about a young lady that we've known for a long time, Heather. I've known her for 13 years now, because I used to adjust her at another office, and she was fairly heavy. She works out every day now. She eats mostly a paleo type diet, but not all. It's about 65–75%. And she looks great. I mean, she literally, I mean, you can ask Erica. I mean, we took pictures of her just, what was it, a year ago, and we looked at it today, the other day, and we were amazed at how much she lost. And the thing was, it didn't happen in that 1 year. It was everything that built up to that, because what happens is, at the beginning, it's sort of slow, and people get discouraged. But if you keep doing it, all of a sudden your body starts kicking into metabolism and it starts losing, and then you get to a certain level and your body will lose the weight. So it takes years, okay, to do that. That's the smart way to do it. But this is an important thing. So, you know, it goes through a lot of this stuff, and you can see, like, it gives you little reports. Now you can share this with people or not, okay? And I'm going to go down here so you guys can see it. You can share it with people or not, but it says, okay, I did this, doing 27 minutes of bicycling. it gives you all the stuff that you need to go on and track things that you're doing. And it's nice to be able to look at the foods you've eaten, and if you look here, I've listed, you know, the foods that I've eaten throughout the day. It gives me all my calories, my daily goal, and remaining. And the daily goal is calculated for you, depending on your activity level and things of that nature. So you have to go in and play with the program and figure out what's going on. But it just helps you to stay accountable to stuff. And what's great about this program is that it has an app that you can use on the phone. Okay, and then you can actually, if you are doing workouts or if you are doing things, you can look at apps that are associated, and you look at activity trackers and exercise and sports. So what will end up happening is, say you have an activity, like I have Garmin Connect hooked up to this, and you can see these are my apps here. I also use Strava, which is another app that you can use on your phone to track running and biking, and it's done independent. And what ends up happening when you do something, I use the Garmin Connect with my phone, with my watch, and what ends up happening is it automatically updates it. You don't have to put it in. It's because it's linked, it will do it automatically. So what ends up happening is I can now track, this is the Garmin Connect, and I'll show you, this is the device that I have. Come on, open up. Device details. Of course there was an error. Mini view, switch this as I would go to full page. No, I don't want to do that. Let's go to mini view again. Let's say for some reason it's not opening it up. But it's basically just, it's a watch that I wear. Okay, and it shows me, this is what I did yesterday. I was on in my basement. This is how many miles I did on in training and the number of calories. This was last night. If you look at this here, this shows you the number of calories I consumed, how active I was, and this updated automatically. This is linked with MyFitnessPal, so when I put stuff into MyFitnessPal, it goes right into this program too. So they link back and forth. Why is this important? I mean, this is a little, yeah, am I saying that everybody's going to do this? No. But I think this is just an understanding of, a good understanding of a place to start, and go with your foods. And what's nice about MyFitnessPal is you can search for foods, and you can they'll actually give you sample recipes and things of that nature for good foods. I mean, it's simple. The other thing is that we do in the office is we do this healthy transformation weight loss program. I don't hold too many in the office. If someone's interested, we sell them to them there. It's a month-long thing. It's from Metagenics. They have I think $189 for the month. It's sort of like, you know, a lot of the people do the MediFast and things of that nature. Those are great, but the problem is that people aren't getting enough calories. This allows you to eat the good foods and trains you how to eat the good foods. It has a whole pamphlet. You can go online and you can look at all those things. It's all about accountability. But you need to know the foods you're eating. You need to understand what you're eating, because if you're eating foods, especially fried foods and heavy fat laden foods, your body is not going to digest it properly. And you know, the thing was, fat got a really bad reputation, but there are good fats that we're supposed to be eating. Okay, there are, you know, like I said, the omega-3 fatty acids, the EPAs, the DHAs, but ultimately it comes down to accountability. Okay, if you can keep track of the stuff that you're doing, it's pretty simple. It takes me literally, after I eat something, it takes me literally maybe 2 minutes to put my foods in. And you know what, if I don't remember to do it at that point, I usually remember the foods that I've eaten. Sometimes you miss, you know, but as long as you're being reasonable about these things and understanding, but the first thing is knowing the types of foods and how to eat the types of foods. And you have to have a balance of foods. You have to visually look at your plate and say, okay, I have a burger and fries. Where's the green? On the burger. On the burger. So, you know, the thing is, you know, I mean, how many carbs are there? A bun is a lot of calories. You know, We went to Ruby Tuesday the other night, and they give you these, and they have a good salad bar. But they give you these little garlic bread things, you know, and my girls love them. So I was putting it into my phone, you know, just out of curiosity. That one small thing is 110 calories. And how many of them do people usually eat? A lot. So the thing is, when you start looking at the caloric intake, and then you look at the carbohydrates, but you start looking at those things, you have to, it gives you an education of understanding of what it is that you're eating and how much you're truly eating. Because you can literally have a salad with meat in it, okay? I mean, and you know, like a salad, I mean, a huge salad bowl like this, like of spinach, is literally maybe 40 to 50 calories. I mean, just salad, if you don't put a lot of dressing and stuff on it. And then if you add some dressing, you have to calculate that in. But like 2 tablespoons, and how many people put just 2 tablespoons of dressing on it? Right, I do too, But the thing is, 2 tablespoons is literally over 100 calories, depending on the dressing. Okay, then you look at, and you know, so if you want to add that, that's great, but then you look at a meat. If you eat a lean meat, the meats themselves usually do not have that many calories. They're high in protein and they're lower in calories. It's the breads. Okay, as carbs have a bad name, it does, but you need some. Okay, so the thing is, if you're eating a whole loaf of bread, okay, I mean, just the bread alone, well, look at a 12-inch Subway sandwich. Okay, that 12-inch Subway sandwich that I ate the other day was 1,200 calories. 1,200 calories, and you eat that just for lunch, and then you add all the other crap that you eat with it, okay, and all the other stuff. So the thing is, the bread adds a lot, but you just have to be reasonable on what you're eating, and you have to look at it and eat some, okay, and that's a big thing, because those are the things that you look at. Tomato sauces and salsas and things of that nature usually don't have that much. Okay, they're very low in calories, but they're very healthy for you. You know, beans are usually not that high, but they have good complex carbohydrates, high protein. Those are good things for you. Lean chickens, lean meats. I like lamb, and lamb is usually better than regular red meat, because regular beef meat, because the way it's raised, it's not raised the same way. So it's a little healthier for you, but it seems to be fatty, but it's healthier for you. Go figure. So the thing is, be aware. That's the intelligence behind it. Break your plate into the thirds. Make sure you're having something on the plate and not just on the bun. Okay? You know, and usually the girls know, usually when I go get a burger or something, I'll get a side salad with it. Okay, I always have to try to get a side salad, something lean with foods I'm eating, or eat something with a lot of it. Okay? Because that helps to digest the food, and it helps to do those things that are going. But if you're going to lose weight, please don't starve yourself. Ultimately, make sure you're eating meals throughout the day, and then somewhere along the line, keep yourself accountable, or have someone keep you accountable. You know, like Jen was saying, she has Michelle over here. I know she comes to the workout, and you were so funny the other day. And if you don't mind me sharing, I walked in to say something to her, you know, give her a high five on something, and she's like, "She's killing me," you know. But you know what? But the thing was, but Michelle is keeping her accountable to the things she's doing. I have a coach for my triathlons. He keeps me accountable. I have a mentor that helps me with my practice and understands the things that I need. Okay, we need to be kept accountable to those things, and that's the intelligent way to do things. You know, in athletics and things, but we first have to be open to the ideas, because ultimately the nutrition is an important aspect of everything, but you need to be open to the changes that you need to make, because it's different. It's not the same. The habits that you have, we did a class on epigenetics. The habits that you have picked up from your families. Okay? It doesn't mean that just because your family is that way that you are that way. You can change it. It's just you have to make an effort, and it's hard. And those are the habits you'll hand down to your children and children's children and so on. So, and on saying that, thank you very, very much for coming. For those of you who I will not see next week, have a wonderful holiday. And for those of you that have any questions afterwards, I'm gonna hang around for a few minutes and we'll go from there. Thanks.